All right, everybody. So once again, this is Kid from Body Mechanics. This one is my demonstration of how to correct your squats. Okay. Now this is for newbies. So if you've been doing squats for a while, you get the full concept of it. This pretty much won't do you any good. It probably do the opposite actually. So make sure, unless you're first starting off, or unless you're just not fully understanding the squat in itself, this is meant for you. Okay. Now, this is how I normally teach most of my trainees how to do squats, okay? I normally teach them by taking my little 3 fingers here, say just my 2 middle fingers and my thumb, and I make sure these make their hinge, okay? Now, everybody know when you squat down, you turn your body into a hinge. That way you have to keep your body up and down. Well, I make them use their fingers to hinge themselves, okay? I make them put the 2 fingers here in the small of their shoulder, right below their obliques and right above their pelvic, okay? And I make them put it there, and I put the thumb on the outside. If you can see that, can you see? Okay. That way, when I do it, I make them push this part in and make them push their thumb up. That way, it makes them hinge over automatically. Now, I make them do that to teach you pretty much how to hinge your body automatically. So every time you get ready to squat down, I open my hands down, I push in, I squat into it. Okay. So I know what to do it. So make sure you use those fingers. Okay. When you get used to them, you don't have to worry about them anymore. When your body automatically hinges, and make sure you push your butt out, you'll be just fine. Make sure you're pushing that butt out. Okay. You're trying to show off for a reason. All right. Next up, when I do my feet, okay? I normally have my feet. I normally put them shoulder width apart, which is about, so I just go right here for right now. And I normally take my toes and point them out ever so slightly. Just slight, not really that much. Now, if I'm here, take them out just like that, okay? I don't see that much difference, ain't that much. Okay, the reason why I do it that way, why most people do it that way in general, is to make sure your knees don't buck in when you start doing this, okay? Because when you start going down and your hamstrings or your quads can't take over the weight that you're doing, your knees start to buck inwards, and that right there start causing knee pain. So to make sure you don't get the knee pain, we're gonna take them toes out to keep your knees on the outside of you. So when they go down, they straighten out instead of bucking in, okay? That's how we do it also. Make sure you make sure your feet are correct before you do anything else. Your feet are number one source of how you make sure you squat correctly. Now, next step is make sure you go down. Like when you go down, you want your body to be pretty much diagonal lines across from each other. So if your legs are like this, your back should be the same way. Okay? Now, try your best to make sure your knee stays behind your toe at all times. Now, do not let it go above your toe, because then you start pulling at the bottom tendon of your knees, and then you start to rupture and it start to hurt, and then you'll literally be mad at me. Okay? Make sure you keep it back as far as you can. That means you push your butt back before you go down. Okay? Now, that's also the reason why I use the chair. In this case, I'm using a step, but I normally use a chair when I train on this one for that reason. I normally have people put about a foot space in between the seat, and I put the other foot right in front of it. Okay. Now, when I make them do that, is they got a little distance from the seat, and they must reach forward with their butt. Now, then after I do that, I make them reach for the seat. Pretty much take that butt back, and they reach backwards to touch that seat. Instead of you trying to just squat straight down, you got to reach for the seat. That teaches you to automatically push your butt back before you bring your body down. Okay, that's another way I do it. Now those 3 steps are it. Okay, if you need help, if you need help going down and make sure your butt pushes back, grab a chair, it saves lives. You need to make sure your feet and your knees aren't bucking in when you go down. Make sure you point them toes out ever so slightly, not that much. You don't be pigeon-toed. You literally want them to just be ever so slightly out. And last but not least, if you want, what was the last one? I'm sorry, I forgot already. Yeah. Anyway, make sure those are done, okay? Make sure you keep those 3 steps to make sure you're doing your squats correctly, all right? It's Kid Jeff from Body Mechanics. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do this one more time. We got lunges also. I apologize for that. When we do lunges, okay, now that's how I teach people to do lunges with me is I had to put their hand out, and wherever their hand pretty much sits is where I have to put their foot at, okay? And at the distance of their foot, it'll be their squat distance, okay? That's how I make them do it. That's the spreading their legs they have at it. Now, when I have them go downward, the whole object is to bring your body directly towards the ground, not forward, not back, but straight down. Okay, so I have to put their hand right beside their thighs, and when they go down, their thigh, so their hands should be right in front of their thigh. Which means they should not be touching. It should have a little space in between it, but not much space. Okay, that way you know that when you're going down, your hand is staying straight down, and your body's actually going straight down also. Now, make sure when you do this, your front foot, whichever one's in front of you, doesn't matter which foot it is, make sure that heel stays on the ground. And the one behind you, make sure that toe stays on the ground, okay? Heel, toe, heel, and toe. Okay. Make sure they stay that way. Make sure your heel stays at the front, make sure your toe stays at the back. Make sure when you come up, you make sure you push off your heel to bring yourself back up, okay? Even if you're going forward, make sure you put that heel down, make sure you bring yourself back up, okay? That makes sure you get your glutes and your hamstrings working correctly, how they're supposed to, all right? Thanks so much, Kid Jeff from Body Mechanics. Say same thing, check it out and make sure it works. Make sure you understand how to do it all. Say if you need me to demonstrate or show a little more, let me know. And say, but make sure you let me know how it works for you, all right? Thanks so much, I'm out.